Hello everyone and welcome to Formula Trout. Today's racing is going to be taking place at the Zandvoort circuit and it is the penultimate round of the hybrid series, the hybrid X21, which should technically be called X22 due to the delay in Formula 1 regulations, but oh well. This of course a series for hybrid concept Formula 1 cars that are based on the kind that will be used from 2020 onwards. And looking at the championship standings, it appears that the series has been pretty much wrapped up by Cyprian Stoyan, but with Alex Cochrane returning for this round, it is not technically wrapped up mathematically. Please let me know if you can hear me okay, or whether I should turn my voice up or the sound down or the other way around. Looking at the streaming tool, I'm not entirely sure, so if you could let me know in the Twitch chat or the YouTube chat, I'm not sure if we're live on YouTube just yet, then that would be very much appreciated. Carlos 4 says sounds okay. Okay, thank you very much for that. We're currently in qualifying, watching Alex Cochrane as he sets a 1:11.578 around this 2020 version Zandvoort circuit. And that's important because Cochrane could still technically keep the championship alive today. It's going to be very, very tricky for him to do so, especially since he is 40 points behind and he needs to be 25 points behind at worst in order to take the championship into the next round. So realistically, he's going to have to win this with Stoyan finishing outside of the points. But we'll see how that works. I think I will turn the game sound down a little bit actually, just so that I can hear myself think. Sorry about that. It's just a little bit difficult to commentate when there's too much game noise going on. Just to remind you how the point system works, of course, it's very much like real Formula 1, 25 points for a win, 18 for second, 15 for third, etc., down to 10th place, and you do also get a point for fastest lap, so the maximum you can get is 26 points as Cochrane goes to the pits. Let's see if we can find someone else of interest on the track. Nicola Lee about to start a flying lap, so let's watch on board and see a lap of the 2020 Zandvoort style circuit. There's Tarzan, turn 1. Relatively similar to how it was before the change. I think possibly they've changed the runoff a bit. Hugenholz Spark is very different, much more banked narrow than it used to be. But anyway, then you head up the hill past Rob Slotermakerbocht and through Scheiflak, one of the fastest corners on the circuit, and then the Marlboro Bocht, which is the one following it, into what used to be called Vodafone Bocht. I'm not sure if it still is, and down towards the hairpin, the chicane, which used to be called I think it used to be called the Hans Ernst Bocht, or Hans Ernst Bocht anyway. Through the final couple of corners at our Leyendijk Bocht, and then the sweeping final turn. You can get a good slingshot effect of that, and that is provisional pole position for Nicola Lee, 110.835, so not bad at all, and that will put Nicola to the top of the order so far. I should apologise to you, Nicola. Actually, I don't know if they are a female Nicola, a male Nicola, or other. I've heard Nicola used in different genders, so I'm really sorry if I'm getting that wrong. But anyway, maybe turn overall sound up a bit. Okay, I can do that. Right, that should be a little better. Please let me know if it is. But anyway, so 12, just under 13 minutes remaining in qualifying now. Jump up to 5th place there for Christopher Berzer, or Burz. He did tell me how to pronounce his surname before qualifying, but anyway, I think it's Berzer. Out of Hugenholz Bocht. Notice how these cars have numbers saying what position they're in on the kind of wheel hubs there. That's fantastic to see, and I do hope those get implemented into Formula One in 2022. I think that is the plan, but I'm not sure it's particularly easy to see on the TV cameras, but if you can see them, it really helps, especially when spectating trackside. That's mainly what they're for. To help the spectators understand what's going on when they might not be able to hear the commentators. Oh, off into the gravel. Little mistake from Berza, so that's that lap down the drain. Stephen Heppener is heading around the backside of the circuit, P14 in the championship standings. Talking of the championships, there is not going to be a master split today because the grid size is such that they've decided to combine the two leagues, as Heppener goes for a spin. So today I'm going to be primarily focusing on the challenger split, which is what we will be watching, where Cyprian Stoyan is fighting with Alex Cochrane for the championship. Cochrane, of course, having missed the last 3 rounds, but returns to try to keep his championship challenge alive. In terms of the championship, I should bring you up to date with where we are. Cyprian Stoyan, of course, leading the championship. He's currently down in 7th position in this order, despite winning the last 2 races. So that momentum maybe not carrying over quite yet. We'll see if he can get up to pace in a little while. He was practicing for quite a long time, as Cochrane then moves up to 4th place in the order. He was practicing for quite a long time on the server earlier on, so should be okay, but anyway. Columba Crucifia is... Whoa, that's a big crash from Jordi Lawes there, very, very fast off. Just got it over the gravel and the grass, and that's that was very much like an IndyCar style accident. Hopefully he gets it going again before someone else comes flying through there. Someone did, although they got past him okay. Anyway, let's have a look back at someone else who's on the lap. Dmitry Kamishov. But as I was going to say, oh, apparently. Okay, my apologies. Apparently, Alex Cochrane was promoted to Master Split, so it's actually. You see, I assume the Challenger Split was the top split because there were more drivers in it. Okay, my apologies. I didn't entirely understand that. That also explains why Cyprian Stoyan is slightly further down the order. If I do get things wrong today, it's because it's my first outing with this league, so my apologies about that as Cochrane goes to provisional pole. That means that Andreas Schilder is leading, and I think... Now, am I right in saying that we are indeed going to get both classes racing today? Because I don't see any of the master class cars racing in this. Alex Cochrane apparently had been promoted, although he's down here now. I'm a little confused by this, but if someone could update... yes, both splits together. Okay, so looks as if Schilder's not here for some reason. Same goes for Magsire, maybe. In fact, most of the Challenger drivers, or most of the Master drivers, sorry, aren't here at all. Mortifrum's missing. Southwood's 4th. Okay, so he's here. Dave Halligan, 3rd in the order. So it looks as if we have pretty much none of the top Master Split drivers. That's a little bizarre. Anyway, with 8.5 minutes to go in this session, we have Christopher Berza now at the top of the times. Great lap from Berza there, 1:10.607, followed by Alex Cochrane, Nicola Lee, Dave Southwood, David Halligan, Jordi Lawes, Cyprian Stoyan, Dmitry Kamishov, Ali Gochman, and Mario Lind. And both drivers' championships are wrapped up apparently, so that would possibly explain why Andreas Schilder's not here. Although I would have hoped that he would have been able to come back and go for it again. In terms of the Challenger split, it wouldn't be wrapped up unless this counts towards the Masters and not the Challengers. So unless the Challengers League. Oh wait, no, because Alex Cochrane's been promoted. Of course, my apologies. So indeed, Cyprian Stoyan, I think, has wrapped up the Challenger split. Wow, yeah, a little bit of confusion in terms of the order today, since both classes have been combined. But anyway, since both leagues have been wrapped up, I'll focus a little less on the championship today, and more on what I see in front of me in terms of the racing. So sorry about all of the confusion. Just took a little while to work out what was going on in terms of the championships, the joined splits, and things to that extent. But anyway, David Halligan's just started a lap, I think, so let's watch him as he heads around the circuit. May have just finished the lap actually. Not sure if they have a rule that some leagues have where you have to make it back to the grid, or to the pit, sorry, before you're allowed to go out again for another lap. Again, if anyone could update me on that, that would be very much appreciated, and then I will know more about this series for future rounds of the championship. Oh, Dave Southwood goes to the top. Great lap from him. One of the Masters runners, Dave Southwood, 4th in the Masters Championship, doing a very, very good performance there. Heading up past Rob Slotemaker-Bucht and into Shai Flack. One of the fastest corners on the circuit. Possibly returning to the pits, and that is, first driver into the 109s, David Halligan. The track appears to be getting quicker and quicker the whole time. Drivers' laps just coming down and down. And Carlex4 updates me that yes, you do have to make it back to the pits before going out again. Okay, thank you very much. I know it's technically supposed to be me informing you lot about what's going on here, but this is my first round with the championships. This is very much a kind of practice for me, and it should be better from next round on. But anyway, we do still have an exciting day of racing ahead of us. Less than 5 minutes left in qualifying now. What can Cochrane do here? One of the fastest drivers from the Challenger split, running over the gravel. Of course, moved up to the Master split, as we've already established, and goes into the pits. It's difficult to know actually when a driver's on a lap and when they have to make it back to the pits, because of course they don't really tend to back off. They tend to fly back to the pits to give themselves the maximum amount of time to set up for another stint. Here's Bob Deacon, the only driver in the field who hasn't set a lap yet, and he comes onto the start-finish straight to set his first lap. It's only P12 at the minute, so some time to be gained from Deacon. Let's look back at someone who may be on a lap, someone completing one there. Here's Cyprian Stoyan, our Challenger League champion, and he goes to the pits. Stephen Heppen has just had a quick off. Mario Linda, P10, looks as if he's backing off as well. He's in the gravel. Nicola Lee possibly getting a little held up. Turbulent air, not such a big problem with the 2022 F1 cars, as we've had a change for second place there, Christopher Burrs, or Burzer. But still, you don't want to be caught out in the turbulent air in a slicks and wings single-seater like some of these drivers are being. Cyprian Stoyan, I think, just completed a lap, so won't be on one now. Stephen Heppener, I think, is on a lap. Whoopsie daisy, well, he won't be now. Into the barrier goes Stephen Heppener. Appears to be struggling today, I'm afraid. What about Burrs? Recently moved up to second position, and I don't think he's on a lap right now. Stephen Fox, don't think we've seen him much yet. So let's watch Stephen for a little bit as he comes around the old Ari Lyondike box. I'm not sure if they've changed that corner name since the circuit was changed. And Fox comes into the pits, just my luck. Burrs, I think, is setting up for a lap, because otherwise he probably wouldn't be going quite this slowly. So let's watch Steve Burrs, or Christoph Burrs. Don't know where I got Steve from. as he goes on to possibly his final flying lap. Does have a bit more time, and no, he comes into the pits, of course he does. I wish there was a simpler way of finding out who was on a flying lap and who isn't. Steve Hapner certainly isn't. Jordi Lauwys. I do want to watch another onboard lap with one of these cars, because you get a wonderful view looking over the top of the halo to those slightly less disruptive wheels in terms of the airflow of them all. Dave Southwood goes up to second now, as you see a car coming out of the pits. Great lap from Southwood. And Jordi Lauwys heading up the hill for what could well be his final run. So this is all important for Lauwys. He's 5th in the order so far. Clips the curb perfectly. That was precision perfect there through the middle sector. As it was on the exit, this car looking very, very planted. You see the thick front tyres on the front there. Where else would they be, I guess? Slick tyres. All the grip in the world. Oh, but not enough for Jordi Lauwys, as he gets deposited over the crest and touches the gravel. He still seems to be pushing for it, but surely that's cost him his lap. Well, he's touched the gravel again. So I would be surprised to see Lauwys. Is he going to come into the pits? Yes, he is, surely. I was going to say I'd be surprised to see him not doing that. Burr's coming through as Halligan sets fastest. And Burrs, I think, starts one more lap. He's being timed anyway. So we'll watch him to see if he completes this one. I'm sure he's been out on the track for a while. Slightly wide at Hugenholzbach, but hooks it up okay for the exit. Still seems to be running decently on this lap. Into Scheiflak. They're going something like 140, 150 miles per hour on the exit there. Translating that into kilometers per hour if you like, but whatever it is, it's quick. Only Halligan has managed to get it into the 109s so far. Everyone else in the 110s. Or slightly slower. Stoyan there goes up to 5th. The checkered flag is now showing, so this is driver's last attempts. Cochrane won't be going any quicker, neither will Lauwys. It's up to the top 3, I think, to scrap over pole. Here's Berza. Keeps it out of the gravel, that's important. As the final corner, does he complete the lap? Yes, he does. And what is it from Christoph Berza? It's 2nd, so he just missed out on a chance of pole position there. Lee goes up to 5th. And Fox improves to 9th. What about David Halligan? I'm not sure he needs to complete this lap, but he might do it anyway. Someone having a little off. I think that's Fox. Dave Halligan now does come into the pit, so I think that is his qualifying over. This driver, who is Dmitry Kamishov, may well be the last driver to complete a flying lap. Not sure about Hepner, he may still be on one. Trying to get himself off the back of the grid. No, he's in the pits now. So I think that Kamishov will be the last driver across the line. Around the final corner, and that's the end. It started to fade out, so that is qualifying over. And it's David Halligan on pole position by 0.155 from Christoph Berza. Could have been closer, but could have been further apart. And a great lap from David Halligan to get himself into the 109s there. Dave Southwood will be 3rd, the Isle of Man driver. Alex Cochrane, P4, then it's Nicola Lee. Cyprian Stoyan, Jordi Lauwys, Dmitry Kamishov, Stephen Fox, Ali Gochman, Mario Linda, Bob Deacon, and then Carlos Skermanis. So, sorry, Carlos Skermanis not racing, it is Stephen Hepner in P13, and at the back of the grid. So that's how they line up. Just before the race starts, actually, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Christoph Berza and everyone else who helped me set up for this race, including Alex Cochrane and anyone else who helped, Maximilian Younger. I very much appreciate being given this opportunity and being helped to get started in this league. But anyway, so just a few minutes to go now until the start, or just a few seconds to go more like, until the beginning of the 53 lap race. Just a minute and a half. Carlos Germanos confirming he is indeed the race director rather than a driver. Again, my apologies for being a little bit derpy today in terms of my information. I am very new to this league, but anyway. So the start of the race, very close at hand. Look for Halligan, look for Berza at the front of the field. And Southwood and Cochrane behind. It's a difficult circuit to overtake at, always has been. Slightly easier now that the pit straight's been extended and the final corner's been banked, but it's still a very difficult circuit to pass on. So the drivers behind will have to get creative if they're going to find a gap, find a way to get through, find a way to race here. Also ignore the Mercedes GT3 car at the back of the pack there. That has to be there while I the race gets started, and I will immediately dash back to the pit lane and get that car off the track before it gets in anyone's way. So 6 red lights, and when they go out, we will be away here at Zandvoort. Here we go for 53 laps of the Zandvoort Grand Prix circuit with Formula Trout, and it is go! Go, and we will take a quick look at the front of the order. Dave Southwood on the outside, still down in 4th position there. Cochrane is up to 2nd, Halligan leads the race. So Berza there, I think, has dropped down into 3rd. Indeed he has. Good start from Cochrane, not so great from Berza. Some little contact being reported further back, but everyone appears to be okay except for Cyprian Stoyan, who's dropped a few positions down into 12th position from his 16th place starting spot. Any damage to Stoyan's car? I don't think so. So I think that everyone is okay. Here are the leaders: Halligan and Cochrane, followed by Berza and Lee. And Southwood down to 5th, so Southwood lost 2 positions at the start as well. Got caught out on the outside a little, but appears to be okay in terms of no damage or anything. 14 cars in this race, so we did have another one joining us. Mixer Mortiferum. Good to see Mixer joining us, even though he couldn't in qualifying. Down the start-finish straight, the first real slipstreaming attempt. Look at Berza going defensive from Lee for 3rd position. Not quite an opportunity for Lee there. Apparently Mortiferum had a back of the grid penalty, and that is why he didn't bother to do qualifying, which is fair enough. Thanks for that update, race director. And at the end of the first lap, it's still Halligan, Cochrane, Berza, Lee, and no real changes except for the drivers who dropped back or gained at the initial launch. But remember, this circuit does have DRS. It's the first time that DRS will ever be used at the Zandvoort circuit, providing there haven't been sim racers that have done it before. But anyway, DRS has never been used at Zandvoort in real life. The first time will be this year, or next year rather, when Formula One makes their debut there. And it will be available as of next lap. Slight change there for 7th place. Gochman is up ahead of Kamishov. Kamishov under attack from Fox. That's over 8th position. Dave Halligan, of course, sets the fastest lap of the race. It's only lap 2. But he's immediately pulling away slightly from Cochrane. Doesn't want to get caught out by that DRS, which will be available on the start-finish straight at the end of this lap. I'm not expecting DRS to be quite as effective in these 2022 cars as they are in 2020 Formula 1 cars, if you may only be used to those. But we shall see. More slanted and wider rear wings on these cars, with less of a funnel shape. stability a little through the corners, and possibly increase drag slightly due to the wider nature. But anyway, down the back straight. In the background there, Stoyan was looking for a way past Hepner. Stoyan disappointed with that first lap, but let's have a look up at Cochrane, because this will be the first time the DRS gets deployed. Let's take a look at the I didn't quite see it there. Yes, it gets deployed just off of the final corner. There's Cyprian Stoyan going to the inside of Hepner, making the move stick into Tarzan. Hepner saw him coming, so Stoyan back up into the top 10, slight touch, but makes it stick. That was a little hairy, but they just about got away with it there, after Stoyan slipstreaming him all the way down the start-finish straight. I believe there's only one DRS zone on this circuit, as the start-finish line provides, although I'm not entirely sure about that. Oh no, never mind, there is a second DRS zone. It's this here, the back straight, as I like to call it, down towards the chicane, even though when you look at it on a track map, it's not really the back straight. Kind of, I suppose. Not particularly straight, actually. Little curve in it, making slipstreaming a little more difficult. Cochrane, though, within half a second of Halligan, heading out to the final turn. Approaching, and setting fastest lap of the race, as in the background, Lee and Southwood go at it. Two very similarly liveried cars. DAC Racing cars, I think. Actually, no, they're not, are they? Well, Lee is anyway. And yeah, so is Southwood, my apologies. Thanks to DAC for being our sponsors today, actually. Big shout out to them. And I think Hepner's just dropped to the back of the field, so maybe something happened with Hepner. Unfortunately, I can't get you a replay of that, but down to 14th place he goes. And the very back of the order. Still the leader's close though. There's another DRS zone, but you surely need to be a lot closer to the car in front to actually make it stick down there. Apparently Hepner has a penalty for illegal DRS use. That's just showed up on my live timing. Now I don't know whether that is an official penalty or not. Some leagues I know remove penalties and then do their own judgments after the race. Oh! Okay, I don't think the cars actually got as sideways as they appeared to there. We had some Formula D action going on down into the first turn, although I think that is only a little bit of a lag spike. I don't think they actually did get sideways like that. What Tifram, I think, lost a couple of places, maybe. No, it was Fox, sorry. So Fox lost the place to Stoyan, so Stoyan up into P7 now. Sorry, I just got really scared by all of the leaders going absolutely drifty into turn 1. But luckily, they all appear to be okay. But anyway, that got the heart racing a little. In the background, there's still a ferocious fight over 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Berza, Lee, and Southwood, with Lee all over the back of Berza. Laway's also right with them now. Berza going defensive into the chicane. That's a rare place to go defensive. Even though there's a DRS range there, it's not as long as the one heading towards turn 1. Little twitch from Lee, that's going to cost him some momentum there. And I don't know if there are team orders at that squad, but I think that Southwood is going to go past him now with the DRS. So through he goes on the inside. Southwood up to 4th. Now look at Lawais making it 3 wide. That's surely not going to work. I think there was a little bit of contact, and there's more contact on the exit, and around goes Lee. He touches, sorry, around goes Southwood, who touches the barrier. Now he's kept his front wing, but he's going to lose so many places in that. And that's an ambitious place to make it 3 wide there, turn 1. You can't really make it 3 wide at all on the Zandvoort circuit without something like that happening. Cochrane now within 0.2 of a second of our leader. It's so close here for the lead of the race. And now he might be going for a switchback manoeuvre. Takes a look to the right hand side of Halligan's car. Gets a good run now for the DRS. He's still very close. What can he do down into the chicane? Surely he's not quite close enough. His best opportunity is down into turn 1 here. An instant for Heppener, he's in the gravel. Didn't see how that happened, but hopefully he can get it going. Might be out of the race here, doesn't appear to be going anywhere. Through the final corner come Halligan and Cochrane. And Cochrane gets his best chance yet. Look at this with the DRS. Halligan goes hugely defensive to the inside. Cochrane is on the outside. You can sometimes pull it there into Tarzan, but he goes for a switchback instead. And he's on the inside for the fast right-hand flick. But the Hugenshoofdbocht is a left-hander, and Halligan keeps the lead there. Great defensive driving from Halligan. Often all you need to do at the Zandvoort circuit is keep your car planted to the inside. Oh goodness. Sorry, keep your car planted to the racing line, and you should be okay. But when your opponent's as fast as Alex Cochrane, you've really got to defend for it. Hepner's still stuck there in the grass. Got to remove his car soon, surely. There's going to be waved yellow flags down there at that corner. Little twitch from Cochrane. That's going to cost him a little bit of momentum heading onto one of the DRS zones. Possibly cost him an opportunity to go for a move. Onto the bank in they head. Let's see how close Cochrane can get himself to the back of Halligan's car. He's not as close as he was a lap ago. Some changes for position, 11th or 10th and 11th, Fox and Mortiferum fighting over those places. And indeed Cochrane nowhere near close enough into turn 1 that time around, I'm afraid to say. But it is still very much not over yet, because he is still going for it. And the beauty of these 2022 regulations is that you can follow the car in front so much better than you can with previous regulations of Formula 1. Steve Hepner says engine died. I'm Steve Hepner, by the way. Okay, if you could remove your car from the gravel, that would be very much appreciated. I'm not sure if you know it's still there, but anyway, shamed to hear that you're out of the race, and I hope to see you back out next time at Sao Paulo. But anyway, not allowed to teleport back. Okay, that's an interesting one. Sorry about that if I haven't understood anything. But anyway, I presume that those drivers... You are in DNF. Okay, never mind. Whatever. Halligan still leading, followed by Cochrane, Burtz, and Lee. I was going to say, I presume the drivers know the car's there right now. And of course there will be waved yellow flags. And indeed, Hepner does go back to the pits now, so thank you for removing your car. Seems like there was just a little bit of a miscommunication in terms of rules there, but anyway. Oh, I think we just seen a change of position. Is that P7? Yes, Kamishev's just got past Southwood there. And I think, well, Southwood, I was about to say he's a long way down the order from where I previously saw him, but of course he had that spin, didn't he? So this is another place to Kamishov. Maybe some damage to Southwood's car or something like that. Anyway, into the middle sector, look at Lee and Lauais fighting. Now Lauais has taken a much more defensive line through that corner, and that would have set Lee up nicely, although Lee had a little twitch on the exit. That's going to cost him an opportunity potentially. The exit of what used to be called Vodafone Bocht. I'm pretty sure it's had a change of name since then, but can't say for sure. Bocht 10 it has on one of the track maps that I've got up. Anyway, into turn 1 they head again. Some slipstreaming opportunity down the start-finish straight, but they weren't close enough. And Southwood's in the pits, so I was concerned that there may be a problem with the car, and he is the first to pit. Now, I am expecting everyone to make a stop, so this may be scheduled, but it's rather earlier than I would have thought. And he goes on to the medium tyres. So out of the pits heads Southwood on the medium tyres. Of course, you do have to use at least 2 compounds of tyre in this race. Most drivers started on the softs. Whether the race will be a 2-stopper or a 1-stopper strategy is yet to be seen. I expect a 1-stop might actually be quite effective here if you can make it work, because well, it's a difficult circuit to overtake at, so drivers on two-stop strategies can't always make up the time that they would be hoping to make up the places again, rather. And as a result, one-stop strategies are probably effective if you can make them work, but if you can't, then definitely still go for a two-stop. Stoyan, Gochman, and Mortiferum are still fighting hard, and that's a big crash! Goodness me! And Stoyan has been absolutely collected by Kamishov. Kamishov goes back to the pits. Someone else off there is Mortiferum. Big hit. It looked just as if Kamishov clipped the barrier and went bouncing back in front of everyone else, and caused a lot of damage, I expect, to the cars behind. Now, he actually started on the harder tyres, so he would have been hoping to run for a while, but look at that damage! And has he just retired? That's a big glitch. But yeah, Mortiferum would have been hoping to run for longer on those hard tyres, but that has very much changed his plan. He's gone on to the mediums now. Kamishov returns to the race, although a long way down after that incident. Gochman, who else was involved? I'm sure there was another driver in that one. It was Stoyan, wasn't he? He actually stayed out there. So let's look to see if there's any steering damage potentially on Stoyan's car. He appears to be okay from what I can see, so he's very lucky there. Cochrane into the pits now. So what tyres does Cochrane go on to? He goes on to mediums, lights the tyres up. Now it's important that he pitted before Halligan, because now we'll be able to see if the undercut might work. That's a nice view there on the side of the halo there from Cochrane's car as he heads through the Hügenthalsbach. And we'll be able to see whether the undercut works or whether maybe it's not beneficial to go onto colder tyres sooner. These tyres do heat up relatively nicely due to their slick nature, but anyway, this fight for effective third. Oh, it's big slide there from Lauais, just gathers it up, keeps it under control. But anyway, this battle for what will effectively be third, still extremely close. It's been going on for a long time, and it's still very much going on now. It'll be interesting to see who pits and when in this fight. Ali Gochman has also been into the pits, and in comes that is Burzet. So Chris Burzet, and he's followed in by Lauais. So Burzet goes on to mediums, does he? Yes, he does. And Lauais does the same. So it looks as if there's one strategy that all of these drivers are employing right now, which is soft medium, and then they will probably have to stop again, looking at the number of laps to go. Well, almost definitely they will. And it'll be interesting to see what they go on to with that second stop, and when that second stop actually comes, whether they'll leave it late and go on to another set of softs rather, or whether they'll pit slightly earlier and take another set of mediums. I would probably lean towards the latter, but I haven't done any testing on these colours, so I don't entirely know how good they are on tyres, how long they tend to run on this track. Southwood there making a move on Deacon, making it stick. Deacon has a lock-up and drops back a little in all of that. So Southwood making another position up. And Stephen Fox has spun. I noticed there was a car sideways on the exit, and it says, it's reporting on my timings that he touched the wall as well, so hopefully not too much damage for Fox there. But yeah, little rotation for him, and he recovers in what is 10th on the road. So, when does David Halligan make his stop? He stayed out for another run as Southwood and Stoyan go side by side into turn 1. Southwood with the slipstream goes through. Stoyan yet to stop, and I think he might actually be dropping back now, so does he potentially have damage from that collision? I wouldn't be entirely surprised if he did, because it was a big hit. And it's Fox now pits after his incident. But yeah, Stoyan dropped back a lot faster than I expected him to there, especially since he's on the softer tyres than Southwood. But anyway, it may be a potential sign that the undercut's going to end up working better. So let's have a look at, well, Halligan stayed out again. He too is on the softer tyre, of course, but running a much longer stint on softs than his main rivals. Cochrane only about 12 or 13 seconds behind him, actually. That's really not that far. I reckon there's a real chance here that Cochrane's going to take the lead with the undercut here. It all depends on when Halligan stops and how fast his in-lap is. But yeah, that's really not that much time for Halligan to get into the pits, make his stop, and then get back out again. Stoyan now into the pits. But yeah, surely Dave Halligan will be coming in soon. Let's watch him as he heads down towards the chicane again. Now, one of the reasons he would have stayed out for this long is because of the clean air that he can benefit from. No one in front of him on the road, no back markers, no one to fight, no one on his tail either. You can see Lee there in the background, but he also hasn't stopped yet. And that is why Halligan stayed out for longer, because it's a very valid strategy to just keep running unless someone looks like they're going to get in your way or something like that. Lee actually set a significantly faster lap than Halligan that last time around. As Cochrane sets the fastest lap of the race. Cochrane really pushing here. So surely Halligan's in trouble now. Surely he's got to react to that and come in. Otherwise he's going to end up a long way behind Cochrane. Because I can tell you, I'm pretty sure that a pit stop here takes longer than 13 seconds. The actual pit stop itself won't, of course, but coming into the pits, stopping and then getting back out again certainly will. Southwood now catching up to Linda. Looks as if he might be about to go for a move for 6th on the road. But the real fight that I'm interested in right now is that one for the lead. Alex Cochrane really pushing Dave Halligan, leaving it late, trying to maximise that clean air, those softer tyres, and I'm not entirely sure that it's going to work. Remember though, we still have a long way to go in the race after this. It's not do or die right now. Halligan stayed out again, and he's over a second slower than Lee. He may be under pressure from Lee soon, actually. Lee almost within a second of him now. And Cochrane much faster than both of them. This is looking very good for Alex Cochrane. Personal best lap from Chris Berzer. So, the fights for the top positions in the order are getting very exciting, even if they're not together on track. Southwood now goes to the inside of Linda. And that was relatively straightforward. Nicely done from Southwood, moves up into 6th on the road. And Lee is now within DRS range of Halligan. So it looks as if we may well have a three-way fight for the lead. If Cochrane doesn't end up absolutely blasting past these guys when they pit. But yeah, Lee appears to be maintaining his tyres a lot better than Halligan. He is really, really gaining here. He's in the DRS range. And I wouldn't be surprised if Lee stays out for another lap to benefit from the DRS. And Halligan stays out. So he is trying to run it very late, I think, probably, to go for a one-stop strategy. It would be brave. It would be very brave. But if he's left it this late, then I don't really see him doing anything else. So for the time being, I'm still going to refer to him as the leader. Chris Berzer there sets the fastest lap overall. We saw him set his personal best last time around, but he has now set the fastest lap overall, and he is only 3.3 seconds behind Alex Cochrane, so Berzer could still be on for the win here. We'll still need to push, of course. There's a long way to go in the race. 3 seconds isn't hugely, well, it isn't particularly easy to gain in these cars. Especially on someone like Alex Cochrane, who's always a contender for results. But anyway, Cochrane, of course, has been in the last 3 rounds, or sorry, last 4 rounds of this series, the Master Split. His best result so far has been 5th place, so he would really, really benefit from a win. As into the pits at last comes David Halligan, and I think that he's going to go for a one-stopper. So does he go now onto the mediums, or does he go for the hards? Cochrane does go through. He's going to be a long way ahead here. He goes for the medium, so he's going for another long stint on relatively soft tyres. And he's a long way further down the order from where he would have hoped and expected to be. Cochrane is miles ahead of him now. Not literally, but several seconds. Halligan lost about 20 seconds in all of that. Goodness me. That's a surprising strategy, but it looks to be working out very, very well from Cochrane, especially since Lee is also yet to pit. So Lee temporarily leads this race, but for how long? Oh, as wide goes Stoyan in the back row. Oh, that wasn't Stoyan, that was oh, that was Lawais, who's almost... Lawais is about to lap Dave Halligan. And now what? Halligan's lap hasn't counted. Halligan's last lap has not counted. So the timings are bugged. And we saw... Now, before there was a race with, before the qualifying started, as Lee now comes into the pits, before practice started even, we saw an issue where the timing screens didn't update when a driver pitted. It seems that Halligan may have pressed the back to the pit shock. Well, I definitely saw him enter the pit. Alex Heinonen says, I think Halligan pressed back to the pit shock instead of stopping in the box. I did see him coming into the pit, so that would be surprisingly. But it's more likely that Halligan didn't download the file that everyone was told to download before practice. And if so, I'm not sure whether he's going to... I'm not sure if the admins can manually give him a lap back, maybe in the race results or something like that, or whether he's just going to be classified as a lap down. That would be rather dramatic. Halligan right on the back now of Nicola Lee. Whether this is for position or not, I don't know. I think it's down to the race director and what they can possibly do about this. But, you know, everyone was told that they had to download a certain file, and it seems that Halligan just didn't download it. Halligan going for the move on Lee, goes for 3rd place, does take it. Now the race director says we will talk about it, but he will most likely be classified as normal, so I presume that means that he will be manually given the lap back. Meaning that right now Halligan will be 3rd on the track, rather than 11th, where he is classified on the left hand side of your screen. And it may be his own fault in terms of the fact that he didn't download that file, but you have to admit it's a little unfair. Maybe he didn't see the message, even though everyone was pinged in it. But yeah, it's a little unfair anyway, and it's an unnecessary glitch. So I would do the same thing if I was the race director, but anyway, for the time being, it's going to mess with the race results a little. Nicola Lee is right behind Halligan, and that was a move for position because Lee is still yet to stop. Cochrane is in the lead now. Actually, did Lee actually make his stop? Did I miss it potentially? It doesn't tell me on the live timings. I think he's close. Yeah, no, he surely he made a stop. Yeah. Oh, of course he did. Yeah, sorry. I even said that he did. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, getting a bit carried away with everything that's going on. So, I think that this is now the effective order. It's Cochrane, Boza, Halligan, Lee, Lawais, Southwood, Linda, Mortiferum, Deacon, Stoyan, Gochman, Kamashov, and then Fox. I'm pretty sure that's the order after the first pit stop cycle. The only question mark over that, of course, is with Halligan, and whether indeed he will be penalised for not downloading that file, or whether he will get that lap back via the race director. We shall see. So, possibly another pit window coming up soon. I'm expecting most drivers to make another stop, but I did say earlier that the one stop may end up working if you can maximise it to your advantage, and that means that Halligan is still not out of this race yet. He could still win it providing his one stop works, and providing he doesn't get docked a lap for his mistake. Round the Hugenholz-box they go. I expect that Halligan will be getting blue flags on his screen right now, which must be rather annoying since he knows he's on the same lap as these guys. And if I was him, I probably would not be getting out of their way. I'd leave it to the end of the race and then dispute it then, but anyway, we'll see what he does. Halligan running just ahead of Lee. Lawais just dropping out of DRS range of Lee there actually. DRS didn't open as he went onto the back straight. Let's see if he can get himself back into range through the Hugenholz-box. Very, very banked corner. It's been changed a lot since what it was before this year. It was already a banked corner, but they've just increased it and lengthened it. And that means that they've lengthened and sped up the straight a little as well, in order to increase overtaking since before this year. There really wasn't any overtaking opportunities for a Formula 1 car like this. This, of course, not technically a Formula 1 car that we're looking at. It is a hybrid concept F1 car. As Linda pits from 7th place. Ooh, and Lawais gets over the grass. Ooh, is he going to spin? Just holds on to it. That's going to cost him a second or two. But it would have cost him more if he'd gone around. Good save from Jordi Lawais there. Now Linda's come out right in front of Deacon, so this is for position. Deacon on the hard tyres there, so possibly also going for a one-stop strategy. And an incident, and into the pits. Sorry, no incident there, but into the pits has come Kamishov. Oh, and there has been an incident. It seems he's disconnected. So Dmitry Kamishov becomes our second retirement today. Hepner, of course, was our first. And Nicola Lee is catching Halligan. He's just set his personal best, fastest lap of the race. It's not the fastest lap overall, but it is his personal best. And he is well and truly catching Halligan for what will be third place in this race. Up the hill, past Rob Slotemaker bocht, into Scheiflak. Lots and lots of gravel on the outside there, ready to catch you if you make a mistake. Shouldn't get it wrong. And I remember someone saying, when I was watching a race at Zandvoort just earlier this weekend actually, that the gravel there is as deep as the sand on the beach next to Zandvoort. Of course, Zandvoort is a very coastal circuit. I've never been there, but apparently it smells of sea salt, and there are seagulls that fly overhead, and you can actually see the sea if you stand on one of the top of these very large grass banks. That's how close we are. It is basically a circuit on a beach. On one side you've got those massive skyscrapers, on the other side you have the ocean. And Lee is catching, goes to the inside, sets the fastest lap of the race. And Halligan's going to have to give him room here. Lee gets all the way up alongside him and does get through. But look at that, Halligan's still there on the inside of Hugenholzburg. Tried to keep it in there, but that is not really a place to go too wide. And Lawais has had a crash, apparently. Lawais is in the pits, and I've got a notification that's come up on my screen saying he's had a crash, he's hit the wall. So that is going to cost Lawais 4th place in this race. Lee takes 3rd. And is Lawais going to retire from this race potentially? His steering wheel moved there, I think. So there is potentially still life in it, but he's going to have to start that lap all over again and lose all of that time. That is a big shame from Lawais. Didn't see what happened to him, but big shame there. Nicola Lee, though, absolutely flying. What can he do about Christoph Bowes? He's within a second of him, almost. Oh no, never mind, I was reading the lifetime wrong. He's still just over 2.5 seconds behind him. Might actually have to defend from Halligan, not quite, but certainly seemed a little wary of him there. Down into turn 1. Halligan running slightly wider and slower. But anyway. Lauace, I'm afraid, is out of the race, so from being a podium contender, he is now not even going to finish due to an accident that sadly we didn't see. 11 drivers remain out of the 14 who started. Now, according to the race director, Dmitry Kamashov is under investigation for recovering to the pits and then continuing to the race, which you're not allowed to do. Now, that's what was confusing Happen earlier. He thought that you couldn't recover to the pits at all. And you can, you just can't go back to the race again. And if Kamashov did return to the race, then I would assume he'll be disqualified for that. But for now, he is registered as running in... Oh, he's out, never mind. So I'm not sure a disqualification would actually hurt him at all. He might get a grid penalty for the next race. I'm not sure if that is in the regulations, but anyway, he's out of the race nonetheless, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, 11 drivers remaining in this race out of the 14 that started. It's a shame that it's a bit of a small grid today, but still it's a decent size for a race, and even though it is made up of 2 series, you know, realistically you only need 2 cars to make a race, and the smallest grid I've ever commentated on was a 6-car race on a Assetto Corsa, and that was actually a really exciting race. There was a lot of scraps in that one. It was a DTM race back at the Nürburgring a long time ago, and if you can have an exciting race with just 6 cars in it, then you can absolutely have an exciting race with 14, even 11, which is the number that we have remaining now. Cochrane is being caught. Bowes is closing in slowly. Lee is closing in even quicker. Lee is going to be within a second of Bowes before long. That is Bowes just ahead of him on the road. So Lee is already within a second of him. He's bringing Halligan with him. But this is the scrap for second in the race. And you can see Cochrane only just in front of them as well. So it's really... You're seeing an accordion effect at the front of the order. That happens when you have a slower car in front and a quicker car behind. The cars just tend to get pushed together. And Cochrane is starting to feel the pressure. Bowes will be under even more pressure. Or Berza, sorry. Will be under even more pressure. And Lee got within half a second there into the braking zone. Surely Lee is the fastest car on track right now. And he is going to go for an overtaking manoeuvre, providing he can get close enough down the start-finish straight this time around. And I don't know if Bowes is going to have anything to hold him back with. Here we go, final corner of this lap. And onto the straight. Defensive goes Berza. Who's that in the pits? It's Fox. And Halligan goes up the inside, spoils Lee's party. Halligan's got through. They're still side by side, Lee on the outside, and Halligan does exactly to Lee what Lee did to him just a couple of laps ago. Now I was mainly focusing on Lee and Berza to see if those two were going to swap, but Halligan took advantage of it, got straight back through again. So is Halligan now going to have a chance at getting past Berza? Is he going to go for it? That's going to give Berza a little bit of breathing room for the time being. And it's going to hold these two up a little, but... Oh, as Berza runs slightly wide there. But it does bring Halligan right back into this fight. So Halligan will open the DRS here. And he goes for it into the chicane and he spins! Halligan, well, he doesn't quite spin it, but Nicola Lee gets through. Halligan made a big mistake there, left it too late, got it sideways. And that is going to have cost both him and Lee a lot of time. To Berza, he was going for a move on Berza. He thought he was going to take second, ended up losing third in the process. But anyway, that's so easy to do. You just need to get it slightly wrong, and then it's all over. Ali Gochman's just been into the pits again, down in 9th position. And Southwood's now in the pits from 5th. Now he will, what tyres did he go onto? He goes onto another set of mediums, so that will be his tyres to the end. And that is, I expect, what Cochrane, Bozer and Lee will do. Possibly Halligan as well, but Halligan is doing a really good job to keep up with this bunch on his medium tyres. Whether he'll be able to run those to the end or not, I don't know. It'll be harder after that lockup. Now maybe he's pushing because he knows he can't make it to the end on that set of tyres, and he is still going to make another stop as Deacon pits. Or maybe he just genuinely has that much tyre to play with. I'd be surprised after he dropped off that much in the early stages. But as I said earlier, Halligan, it certainly isn't out of this race yet, as much as it looked like he would be in the early stages. Deacon comes out P10. So, here we are watching Berza, Lee and Southwood. Lee back within a second of Berza. I think they have a bit of traffic up ahead of them there. That doesn't look like Cochrane to me. We'll see. Yeah, indeed, there is another car right in there. And they clear him to the left. Is that Fox, maybe? No, it's got in one of the Trout cars. Excellently liveried Trout cars, I should say. And I did say that, I was going to say that Halligan has just got past Gottman, although I think that he will be classified as a lap ahead, so that won't end up mattering anyway. What can Lee do with the DRS of Berza? This is his first real opportunity since last time he had it snatched away from him by Halligan. He's not close enough this time around. Getting closer though. And this time he will be saying, "You keep back, Mr. Halligan. This is my move. Don't you be stealing my spotlight." We shall see. Under 20 minutes to go now. Before, or 20 laps to go, my apologies, before the end of this race. And Dave Southwood has just set the fastest lap of the race. Remember, there is a point on offer for 20th. Oh, and they touch! Who was that? That was Liam Berza. And Berza has collected Ali Gochman. Now, did Lee touch Berza from behind? I was looking down for a second. I was looking at the live timing. Whatever the case, Berza ended up getting spun around. And I think he has damage. He's being very cautious into the chicane there. That engine doesn't sound great. I think he might just about be okay. We'll see if he comes into the pits or not. What about Ali Gochman? He appears to have no engine noise at all. That's weird. Well, he does from the outside. Berza is in the pit, so maybe there was damage there. Or maybe he's coming in because of his flat-spotted tyres. We'll see how long his stop takes. If it's longer than usual, he may be doing damage repairs. But what a shame for Berza there. Possibly a little bit of damage repair? I don't know about that. But he's out on the pits on another set of mediums. Around the outside goes a car who I think is lapped out, and Southwood actually cut the pit exit lane there. Now I don't know if they... Do the stewards watch that in this series? Not entirely sure about that. Gochman is also in the pits, and did he just disappear? Yes, he did. So it looks as if Gochman's going to be our 4th retirement in that accident, and I'm afraid he was also a completely innocent victim. Now what I'm wondering about is, did Lee touch Berza, or did Berza go around on his own? And if Lee touched Berza, will there be a potential penalty looming? For the time being, Lee has caught right up to Cochrane for the lead of this race, and into the pits comes Cochrane. Cochrane makes his stop, and Lee goes defensive from Halligan. Halligan goes to the outside. Does he go for a switchback? Yes, he does. This is where he passed Lee a couple of laps ago. Lee keeps control. Cochrane comes out of the pits on medium tyres. Also doesn't quite keep it within the pit exit line. I'm not meaning to snitch on these drivers, but anyway. So Lee leads the race now. I think he's going to have to stop again. Cochrane has come out in, I think, third, because Halligan will still be ahead of him. But that's really shaken up the order a bit. What I really want to know is Halligan going to stop again? I presume he'll be on a similar strategy to Lee now, despite leaving his first stop really, really late. This is a really, really exciting race. You never know what's going to happen next. Southwood also now within a second of Berza. But this is an important scrap here. Halligan versus Lee. And Halligan not close enough there down into turn 1. What about Southwood? Well, Southwood and Berza are about to enter the start finish straight again. Both of these drivers really pushing on relatively new tyres. They are two of the quickest drivers on the track right now, according to the live timings. Let's watch their laps. Oh, and as I say, look at that, 1:11.915 from Berza, that's his personal best. And a 1:12.075 from Southwood, that's almost his best. So these two really going for it now. Fox up to 10th place, 10 cars remaining. So that's how we stand at this point in the race. And the battles on track are between Lee and Halligan, and Berza and Southwood. Let's look at Halligan. Now I wish I could tell exactly how close he was to Lee, but according to the timing glitch, I'm afraid we can't see that. I was wondering before this race started whether they'd have to set a precise number of pit stops that everyone has to stick to, so that the timing sheet didn't get too confused, but luckily we didn't end up having to do that. That would have been quite artificial. Halligan, I think, is dropping back from Lee at this point in time. As Cochrane is starting to fly, he's just set his personal best lap of the race on completely fresh tyres. I'm not surprised. So, watch Cochrane's lap times, compare them to Lee's and Halligan's. That is going to be the important thing in this race now. Here's Southwood. Berza, still just 7/10 back. Ignore the sound of the engine in the background there. That's just people working in the pit lane, I expect. Loads of fast laps coming in at this point in the race. This is really the time where drivers are starting to push. It's great that the Assetto Corsa shows us the drivers' lap times on the left-hand side of the screen, so we can keep up to date with that. But of course, the trouble with Southwood is that even though he is going so quickly in this race, faster than he's gone all day, so is Berza, meaning he's got a moving target. I mean, he would do anyway, but he's got an even quicker moving target than usual. And at a track like Zandvoort, actually passing Southwood will be really, really tough. Remember, there is going to be one more race in the championship after this one. Sao Paulo, of course, is going to round out this 12-race season. And you'll be able to see that in 2 weeks' time. It'll be very, very exciting, I'm sure. Linda now into the pits. Going to drop down from 6th position. Indeed. Mortiferou goes up into 5th place. Mortiferou, sorry. Goes up into 6th, rather. What about, well, Lee and Halligan, the gap is still coming out. In fact, it's coming quite significantly out here. Halligan is beginning to really start dropping off the pace, and this is what I feared might happen. Stoy and pit. This is what I feared might happen to Halligan, because he made his pit stop, his first pit stop, a lot later than others. But it looks to me as if he's trying not to do a second stop. Now holding off Cochrane with this strategy is going to be very, very tough. It's possible, I think, potentially, but it's certainly going to be very, very tough. Now, excuse the slightly unprofessional camera view. I just want to read what that says on the side of the car. Project P1. Oh my god, I love that so much. This is a very kind of Ferrari mock-up sort of car, and that's a play on the mission Win Now that Ferrari have on the side of their cars. But anyway, Dave Halligan dropping back into the clutches of Alex Cochrane. Bob Deacon's the car behind him, who's a lap down to him, so he doesn't have to worry about him too much at this point in time. And while everyone else is setting their fastest laps of the race, Halligan just needs to keep it consistent and make sure that those tyres don't go fully off otherwise. He will start losing 3 or 4 seconds per lap, and it won't be much fun at all. It's the one thing I don't like about slicks and wing single-seaters, the fact that the tyres do tend to go off fairly quickly and suddenly, and there's not really that much you can do about it. And when you start driving a car on very worn-out tyres, it's not much fun at all. But anyway, so Linden, our fast lap of the or personal best lap of the race 2 on those softer tyres. Of course, no refueling in this series, so as well as having softer tyres, these cars will, or newer tyres rather, these cars will also have less fuel than they had near the start of the race, which is why in Formula 1, for example, you always tend to see the fastest lap being set very late in the race. And in this, I imagine it's going to be very, very similar. David Halligan, registered as P7, effectively, or realistically P2, effectively, who knows, it depends on how the race goes, and how his tyres will shape up against his opponents towards the end of the race. Let's have a look at some of the other drivers that we haven't looked at much yet. Bob Deacon is running in 9th position. This is what it looks like on board the number 22, and I don't know why it says Mixer Mortiferum, because Mortiferum is in this race. The last time I checked, Bob Deacon wasn't Mixer. Halligan was really rather slow onto the straight. Got a pretty bad exit to Marlborough Park. I think he's starting to struggle now, is Halligan. But anyway, Bob Deacon, of course, who we're riding on board with, one of the challenge drivers, I believe. Indeed, 16th in that championship, having only arrived very late in that. Finished 2nd at Singapore. Not bad at all. We're not quite having the same sort of race today, I'm afraid to say. Of course, he is up against even tougher opponents than usual, which will make it harder, but still. And through on the inside, he's just being lapped there by Alex Cochrane. So that now is the gap between Cochrane and Halligan. The second in the race, with Cochrane gaining. And Halligan fleeing, but possibly not quick enough, because that gap is definitely coming down. It's also, I think, coming down between the leaders. also trying to work out when Lee got ahead of Cochrane in the order, because it seems to me as if Lee may be effectively ahead of Cochrane in the order and has a really good chance of leading this race. But I'm not sure exactly how or when that happened. Did Lee go for a one-stop potentially? Because I'm not sure I've seen Lee stop since. Whatever the case, it's Lee leading from Halligan and Cochrane. But look at Cochrane fly. He is really catching the car ahead of Lee. Absolutely flying. And getting closer all the time. Alex Cochrane won the challenge. Oh, and he's up the inside. Alex is going for it. And he's on the outside now of the second part of the chicane. Just found so much more grip there and went through. So Halligan's one-stop strategy does not appear to be working, I'm afraid. And in the final 10 laps of the race, Alex Cochrane has passed him on the track, and now surely he will start to accelerate away from him and continue to build up that gap. And I'm being asked now to treat it as if Halligan is in 7th place rather than in 2nd or 3rd as he would be. So it seems that potentially Halligan is going to be kept down in that place. Okay, well, sorry about that. So it seems that was Cochrane lapping Halligan rather than overtaking him. It all depends on what is decided after the race. But for the time being, it's Lee leading from Cochrane 2nd, then Berza, Southwood, Mortiferum, Linda, then Halligan in 7th, and a lap down, then Stoyan, Deacon, and Fox. Which is a big shame for Halligan. But if that's all that can be done, then that is all that can be done. And even if he didn't have that timing glitch, he would still be behind Alex Cochrane with his one-stop strategy seemingly not working. It seems that he just pushed his tyres a little too far, and maybe it would have benefited more from a two-stopper like the one that Cochrane has employed. Cochrane already a long way ahead of Halligan. You can barely see Halligan in the background there, and that is a bit of a shame for the red vehicle. Project P1, which I'm still giggling about because that is an excellent name there. But anyway, of course, Halligan is 5th in the he is 5th in the Masters standings after 3 podiums, one at Canada, one in Italy, and one in Singapore. Could potentially still be on for his 4th of the season today if his 1 lap penalty is revoked or corrected. Racing for the Octane Energy racing team. Out onto the start-finish straight again, completing another lap, and he is still losing a lot of time to his opponents, I'm afraid to say. Let's have a look back at Christopher Berza. He's just passed Cyprian Stoyan. That's to put Stoyan a lap down. What tyres are those on Stoyan's? Ah, it's mediums. They almost look green in that light. And I was thinking, Inters? Surely not. Anyway, Stoyan, of course, who's already wrapped up the Challenge Championship, would have revelled in the opportunity to race some of the more competitive drivers and see what he could do against the big guns. Although sadly, hasn't quite been the best of races for him. And pulls over to let another driver through. That'll be Lee, our overall race leader. Whoops, as I get it. Oh no, that's not me, sorry. That'll be Southwood, yes it is. Dave Southwood. Still in 4th place, running a relatively quiet race after that unfortunate spin earlier on. that he's been doing a good job and will collect a pretty decent tally of points from this one at this rate. Running pretty average lap times at the minute, but he's not really in a fight with anyone, so he doesn't really need to. I'm not sure there was much chance of him catching Berger without wearing out his tyres too much. And again, he is briefly getting within 2 seconds of him at times. So maybe if he can pull a few good laps out of the bag towards the end, there could still be a chance, especially if Berger makes a mistake. It's so easy to make mistakes near the end of the race, of course. Your concentration starts to go, your tyres start to go, your car's lighter and therefore more nimble through the corners, and therefore harder to keep up with, I find. But anyway, these drivers have done this race scenario so many times before that they'll be used to it, and should be okay with taking it to the end. Through the banking, opening the DRS. I think he got DRS from. No, I didn't. Oh my goodness, he was actually. So Berger's starting to drop now. Southwards lap wasn't great, but he was a second faster than Berger on that last lap. So is Berger struggling with tyres in these late stages? That's coming back suddenly. Now Berger, remember, was one of the fastest drivers after the pit stages. He was accelerating away from Southward. And then it looks as if he started to drop back again. So we could still have a fight on here for third place. And this is important in terms of the finishing order. Berger just needs to defend with all his life. We've only got 4 laps remaining. 3 and a bit, more realistically. And you definitely can hold on at this stage as the leader now starts the 50th lap of this 53 lap race. First lap, I think, actually, because when it says 53 out of 53, that would be the end, yeah. And Cochrane is now within half a second of Lee. Goodness me, he was a long way back last time I looked at that gap. That's come right down. So the gap's coming right down at the end. You often see this in Grand Prix because it tends to kind of even itself out. Strategies do anyway. And Lee, who I think potentially went for a one-stop, sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Oh, and goes to the inside. He took a little look, couldn't quite do what he did on Halligan, as Southwood has taken third over Berger. But the leader's going at it. Let's see if they do it again down into turn 1 here. Alex Cochrane with the DRS, with the slipstream, with the overspeed. Lee weaving about, look at that! Not wanting to give Cochrane any chance to go through. Southwood also going to have to defend from Berger again, down into turn 1. Can Berger come back at him? He dummies to the inside and has to back out of it. So Southwood is well and truly through into third place now. Through Shy Flag go Lee and Cochrane. There's only one more lap after this one. Or is it 2? Sorry, I'm used to a timer. I'm not sure whether when it says 53 out of 53, whether that will mean the race is finished or whether that means there'll be one more lap. I want to quickly check that actually so I don't get it wrong. Lap's 50, so they'll be on lap 51. Yes, okay, so that's the lap that they're on. Yellow flag's waving somewhere. Stephen Fox has had a spin at the exit of turn 1. Gets it running again. Now look at Cochrane. He goes to the outside line of Lee and does go through into the lead. Alex Cochrane passes Nicola Lee and leads the race in the late stages. Great move, great driving, great strategy. And that was on the final lap of the race. It couldn't be much closer. sorry, penultimate lap. Let me check that again. Yeah, penultimate lap of the race now, my apologies. But still, he's made it stick. And Lee could do nothing about that. His tyres are older. Cochrane has more grip, more speed, and through he went. This has been a great drive from Cochrane, and he'll be thinking, how did that happen? Because Lee was the only driver who had to pass on circuit, of course. Well, no, sorry, that's complete. Oh, and Lee's made a mistake. Little slide there. Oh, and Buzz has got straight back past Southwood. So the fight now is to fight for third place. Buzzer runs wide. Southwood back around the outside. And I think he's going to have the advantage. He's on the inside for the back corner. And Buzzer sweeps right back around the outside, Mansell style. Southwood's still there, though. They're going to be neck and neck heading on to the final lap of the race. This couldn't be much closer for third. There's contact! Does Southwood keep control? He does! I've got no idea how he did that. They collided, driving at 190 miles per hour. And somehow, Dave Southwood keeps control of the car. Don't worry, people in the chat, I will not miss Cochrane winning the race. It is indeed the final lap, but that was so close down into turn one there. How they managed to avoid coming together is beyond. Well, they did come together, but how they managed to avoid crashing is beyond me. But anyway, out of the final corner comes Alex Cochrane. What a drive it's been from him. And Alex is going to win at Zandvoort. Fantastic. It was close. It came right down to the penultimate lap, but he's done it by 2.2 seconds from Nicola Lee. Now, oh, and Halligan's off on the last lap. He's come together with Deacon. So Deacon and Halligan have come together with one lap to go. And that's going to cost Halligan third place, even if he is allowed to keep that. But anyway, so Southwood is definitely third, Berza fourth. What a finish, goodness me. Halligan potentially fifth. It all depends on whether he's classified there or not. Mortiferum is fifth on the unofficial standings, and I have to stress that these are unofficial standings today, I'm afraid. Mario Linda is P6. And that is the end of the race. Cochrane, Lee, Southwood, Burrs, Mortiferum, Lynn, Stoyan, Halligan, Deacon and Fox, with a possibility of Halligan being elevated 3 positions. But anyway, what a race that was. Very, very exciting. I am so impressed by Formula Trout. I remember commentating the Formula 3 League for the first time the other day, and I was impressed by that, and I'm impressed by this as well. Hopefully we get more drivers for the next round, but yeah, what a fantastic race that was. Thank you to everyone thanking me in the chat. That's very much appreciated, and again, big thank you to everyone who helped me set up for this stream. Including Alex Cochrane, Christoph Berza, Maximilian Younger, and Jack Smith as well. But anyway, what a day's racing that was, and congratulations to Alex Cochrane for that fantastic late overtake. Now we may well get interviews. It depends on how many people actually know that I'm here and know that interviews are a possibility. No one is current. In fact, I'm not in the commentators channel, so let me quickly join that to see if anyone is going to join in. I'm actually going to post in the general chat to see if anyone wants to have an interview. BRB. Okay, never mind. We do have our first interviewee, I suppose, who I do not have permissions to drag in. So if any of the admins are waiting here and can drag Cyprian Stoyan into the commentators channel, that would be very much appreciated. If not, I might well go into the waiting for the interview channel and interview him there. But anyway, okay, let's do that. Oh no, it's push to talk required, isn't it? Yikes. Okay. Admins, help, please. Anyway, what a race that was. Alex Cochrane's also there waiting for interview as well. There we go. And Cyprian Stoyan has been dragged into my channel and then back out again. Alex, do you hear us?
Yes, hello.
Fantastic. So, Alex Cochrane, our race winner, taking it on the penultimate lap of the race. How was that from your point of view?
Yeah, it was pretty exciting on track, to be honest. Yeah, I had a really good start, jumped up to second, and then followed David around for the start, and then I think it was through strategy, just managed to get the jump on him. I know they were doing one stops, which was quite unexpected. I was really worried I wouldn't catch, but just, as you said, on the penultimate lap.
Well, you did manage to make it stick in the end, and it was a really brave move. Two really brave moves. First on Halligan, then on Lee. What does it take to be quick around a track like Zandvoort? Because you really appear to have the edge on your opponents in that race there.
To be honest, it has to be a massive thanks to my teammate Jordi, because he supplied a setup which was absolutely fantastic. I did some practice earlier on with my own setup. I loaded his up and it was night and day. So obviously it is a very tricky track. It's very fast, flowing, but it's all set up, I think.
And are you looking forward to Sao Paulo? How do you feel about that track?
Yeah, for sure. I had some quite high hopes for Interlagos because I've always gone well there before, but yeah, I didn't expect to be winning this race. So hopefully, I can carry that on to the next round.
Well, good luck in that, and congratulations on your victory. I'd also like to point out you have a nice little fan club going on in the Twitch stream chat, so they will all be very happy to see you win. So congrats for that.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the stream.
No problem. Just quickly, if you could drag Cyprian Stoyan into this chat, since I do not have permissions to yet, that would be very much appreciated.
I cannot do that either.
Oh no. Do you know anyone who can? Okay, well, oh, there we go. Cyprian, do you hear us?
Yes, hello.
Jolly good. So, an up and down day for you today, although you, in the end, were classified... Actually, where were you classified? Was that 8th?
7.
7th, okay. Yeah, how is it from your point of view? Talk us through the ups and downs of it. Or...
I had a good pace, but someone crashed in front of me at the start of the race. I was unable to avoid him, but the big issue was I was unable to repair the car. I don't know if it's a track issue or car issue. You know, that thing, escape to pit, doesn't work sometimes. So I race more than a half of the race with a full damage car. I could finish more in front, but happy with this.
How damaged was your car after that hit?
Full wings damage.
Ooh.
No suspension, but full wings, and I understeer a lot. So, but I had a fun race, and a good race.
Yeah,
Things happen.
We saw the accident on the stream. That's a big shame, but
yes, that was the accident. So I tried to continue the race and repair the car at pit, and then I saw I can't use the button to repair the car.
So
I'm happy with this result in these conditions.
That's good. I'm glad to hear you're happy about it. How different is the Masters category from the Challenge category in terms of the performance of the drivers, the competitiveness?
Oh, it's hard, but here was okay. It's like Monaco. You must be very careful not to exit, not to spin, not to touch the walls. So you could be a master. If you don't crash, it's nothing. If you crash, it's nothing. So I focused not to crash. I didn't mistakes except that one with the guy in front of me.
All right. Well, thank you very much for this interview, and good luck next round.
Thank you for streaming. Thank you. Good.
No problem.
Bye. Thank you for streaming. Bye.
Okay, so we could potentially have Nicola Lee joining us, although, again, I don't have permissions to drag him in. Someone else has done it for me. Jolly good. Nicola, do you hear us?
Yes, I do.
Okie dokie. So, Second place, you brought it very, very close to the end there. It looks as if you might have a chance of the win. Do you think there's anything more you could have done to get that P1 there?
Yeah, yeah, I could have done a few more laps on the softs. They definitely had some more laps in them, but well, I couldn't have known that back then, so it's kind of useless to mull over it right now.
And do you regret going for the one stop, or do you think you would have had even a tougher job on the two stopper?
No, I don't think that going for a stop. I think the result might have been the same. I might have gotten stuck in traffic, for example, if I did the two stop. You know, you never know what would have happened. I think it's fine. The one stop we did.
Fair enough. Well, congratulations on your second place there, and good luck at Sao Paulo.
Oh yes, I'll definitely get my win there. Hopefully.
Fantastic. I think it's a track you enjoy.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks to Nicola Lee for the interview, as well as the other drivers I interviewed there, Cyprian Stoyan and Alex Cochran, and thanks to you all for watching this this race and supporting me in my first Formula Trout commentary, or Formula Trout Hybrid Series commentary anyway. I hope to do many more. I will be here again for the next round at Sao Paulo, hopefully. And anyway, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you all are as much as I am. So anyway, I'll see you then, and for now, good night.